Was there gambling at the very first Nation of Islam temple? So, as we all know, it's explicitly prohibited in Islam to gamble. Here are two verses from Surah Al-Ma'idah, that's the fifth chapter of the Quran, which make that very, very clear. Now, this is a pamphlet from the early Nation of Islam. You can see the address at the bottom, Muslim Temple of Islam, 1722 St. Antoine Street. This was the very first temple of Islam. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wasn't the Hastings Street location the first temple? Well, at least not according to this video by Dr. Wesley Muhammad. He gets this pamphlet from the Archives Department, and he refers to it as, quote, pre-Hastings Street literature. So Hastings Street Temple, Allah Temple of Islam, was there in 1932. Of course, Farad arrived in Detroit, according to the Nation of Islam lore, on July 4th, 1930. So we're going to assume that this was the original temple that was in operation sometime around 1931. Now, if we plug this address into newspapers.com, the digital newspaper archive, we find the following article published in the Detroit Free Press on March 22nd, 1931. Quote, betting on races is most expensive. It costs more to gamble on horses than on dice, at least in the way of fines. It was demonstrated Saturday by Judge Thomas M. Cotter. He ordered 5 men arrested in an alleged bookie place at 416 Woodward Avenue to pay $15 fines. 47 Negroes who were said to have huddled about a pair of dice at 1722 St. Antoine Street were fined $9 each. That's the same address. Now, there are four possibilities here. The first possibility is that people were gambling inside the first temple of Islam. This is when Master Farad Muhammad was in Detroit. This would have been before Elijah Muhammad had joined the organization. Possibility number two is that this was only a Temple of Islam part-time. So maybe this was a rented facility before they would get their, more permanent location on Hastings Street. Maybe these people who are gambling were renting it at another time. Number three, it's possible that it was not yet the Temple of Islam at this time. Remember that this is in March 1931. It's possible that it was a Temple of Islam at another point in time. I would request that the Nation of Islam shares the exact date with evidence of when the Antoine Street Temple was established and when the Hastings Street Temple were established, because all we have is the public record, and we don't have exact dates for those. The fourth possibility is that the police falsely charged 47 black people. Um, you know, Charging 47, propping up charges for 47 people sounds unlikely, but keep in mind this was the Jim Crow era in 1930s. So those are the possibilities I could think of. If you could think of any others, please note in the comments. Thank you very much for listening. You can always check out my book, W.D. Farad, The Man, Myth, and Mystery Behind the Nation of Islam by John Andrew Morrow and Bilal Muhammad. Or you could support my work directly by buying me a coffee. The links to both will be below. Thank you very much, and as always, I bid you all farewell. Assalamu alaikum.